You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And hello, my good friends. Great to have you with us. It's now 6 minutes past the hour, and you've arrived at California's #1 place to talk about our state's food and beverage scene with, as always, a local, seasonal, and sustainable focus. This is Eat, Drink, Explore Radio's Market Fresh Hour, and we are very glad to have you with us. I am the host, Randall White. It's our goal to put you in touch with the farmers who grow, the producers who make, and the people who know about your favorite food and drink, and many of the issues surrounding those things. This portion of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. Open daily from 10 until 5 with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. And if you head in there right now with an unwrapped toy, you'll get 20% off your tasting room wine purchase. How's that? It's a really great deal. It's all part of their Eberly's annual charity drive. Voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast, Eberly Winery is located on Highway 46 East in Paso Robles. For more information, you can log on to eberlywinery.com. That's EBERLE winery.com. On Saturday, December the 14th, from noon until 4 is their holiday open house. That's a lot of fun, too. You get to sample Gary's famous barbecue. All right, later on today's program, wine, speaking of Eberly Winery, wine has its sommeliers. Beer has its cicerones. We'll learn what it takes to become a master beer taster from one of the few women to earn the title, and she lives right here in California. Also, with all the cold, and I mean really cold, weather we've been having lately, an expert joins us to talk about the plants in your yard and some of the locally grown, like avocados and citrus, that are in danger when the temperature drops below freezing. How cold is too cold, and what you can do. But first up this hour, it is our regular Cook Well with Courtney segment. Great to have you back on the program. Courtney Coleman runs cookwell.org. You can find her online right there. She does a number of cooking schools and classes, and will even come to your home, I believe. Hey, Courtney.
Hi, Randall.
Nice to have you here with us. Did you have a wonderful Thanksgiving?
Yes, I went down to Southern California, saw my aunt. We did the traditional dinner, but I definitely had the greens in there to balance everything out.
Right. Well, good. You gave us plenty of tips. So I'm sure all of us, all the listeners who follow you and that sort of thing, balanced out their Thanksgiving. I did as much balancing as I could.
Yeah.
But I definitely overate last week.
I know. I think we all do, just because it's there. There's so much of it. It's so good. We're with friends and family. And how do you not overeat at Thanksgiving?
So,
it's not going to kill you, but it's kind of not a good habit to have all the time. But I would say once in a while like that.
No, but during the holidays, we do a lot of that. We do it, from Thanksgiving through Christmas and definitely into New Year's Eve. But then come New Year's Day, a lot of us, I don't know if it's through just guilt and shame from what you've done over the last month or so, or if it's just really a desire for that fresh start. Some people will call it a New Year's resolution. Others just say, okay, it's time to, get well or cook well, as you say, right?
And I think people are feeling heavier too. All that, warming winter food we're eating, the more animal proteins, more fats, pies.
Right.
I think we're feeling a little heavy and toxic, and we want to lighten up or cleanse or just start something new.
So you have a course. One of the courses that you teach is called Whole Food Cooking 101, and it's for busy people. And we're all busy nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
Pardon me.
Excuse me.
I just had a lozenge, and a little part of it went down the wrong way.
It's funny. You coughed, and I said, excuse me.
See, we work well together that way.
I'm empathizing.
So a lot of us want to do whole food cooking. That's what you're all about. But we, many times we think, oh, I have to soak everything. I have to do this. I have to shop at the farmer's market. I just don't have time for it. But you say no. Busy people can tackle this.
Totally.
Starting with eating and cooking with the seasons for balance.
Yes, and that's something that I could talk about separately, and I will. But when I mention to people cooking for their busy lifestyle, it's really just a matter of picking the day of the week that you're less busy.
Okay.
And, segmenting out 2 hours or so to make your big pot of beans and your pot of grain that you can have in the fridge as a base for your meals through the week. And even making a casserole or a big stir fry with grass-fed beef or buffalo or lamb or whatever kind of meats you want to eat, if any at all. Everybody's different. And taking it to work with you in a jar, with an avocado and a lemon. It's really a lot easier than it sounds. If you really want to start feeling well, it helps so much because restaurants and the packaged food that's available as convenience out there for us it's all made with refined ingredients still.
Right.
Yeah, so it helps me feel a lot better, so I'm more motivated to take the time to, just 2 hours somewhere to make everything ahead of time, and it just streamlines my routine. And when I'm done with that pot of brown rice, like say I make it on Wednesday, and I'm done with it on Saturday or Sunday, when I'm scraping the bottom of the rest of it out of the bottom of the pot, that's when because I have the routine down, I know to soak more rice to cook tomorrow night when I get home from work.
I do that when I'm scooping out the portion where what I think I'm putting back in the refrigerator is one more serving. That's my red flag. Okay, it's time to start doing some soaking.
Yes. Exactly. Beans or grain, yeah.
And then when you get busy, like with the holidays, and you miss that, and you're like, oh, no, I didn't do the soaking. You can cook without soaking. It's, In fact, we, because we use a pressure cooker so much, you can throw the beans in there or the rice or what have you, and the soaking is not the end of the world. So I think some people feel like it's an all or nothing task, right?
Go extreme or don't even bother. What I tell people is baby step. And if you look in your pantry and you see a bunch of refined ingredients or refined elements for your cooking, like refined oils and refined salts, use them up. And then just next time, 8 months down the road, when you're done with that product, buy the more conscious choice at that time. Don't overwhelm yourself with having to, strip your pantry and replace it with all the expensive good stuff right away. Just do it as, is convenient and doable for you.
Where do you think we fall the most? Is it at work when we're leaving to go into work, wherever that may be? Many of us leave without a lunch. Or if we do have a lunch, it's a bunch of prepackaged stuff that we got at the store.
Yeah.
And is that where we're making our big mistake mostly?
I think it's different for everyone, but yes. And then when the Halloween time comes around, anytime between October 31st and January 1st, we're right in the middle of the sugar season. So doctors get gifted a lot of candy and pastry and sugar and cakes and cookies and treats from their patients, and that's everybody on staff at the office is tempted by it, and it depends on where you're at in your diet if you want to say no to it completely or just have a little bit, but this is a hard season. It
really is. That's why we have Courtney Coleman with us with cookwell.org. When we come back, fats and oils, unrefined sugars, unrefined salts, greens, and which ones to cook versus eat raw. You're listening to Market Fresh on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. And welcome back, everyone. Great to have you with us. You're listening to Market Fresh on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White. We come to you each and every week at this very time on this very station. And we're very, not to overuse that word, happy to have you with us. Also with us right now is Courtney Coleman. She is a Whole Foods expert, and she joins us from her home in Los Osos on California's Central Coast. She is the woman behind cookwell.org, a wealth of information for you there. You could also meet Courtney in person if you'd like to take one of her cooking classes. Hey, Courtney.
Hello.
Yeah, so it is. We're in the heat of it now, the heat of the holiday season for sure.
I know.
And so you're going to find that peppermint bark being handed to you. You're going to find chocolates and everything right under the sun.
Yeah. And if you've got your own, if you can take a couple hours on a Sunday to make your own gluten and sugar-free cookies, you can take them to work in a tin with you and offer them to other people, but you have that as sort of like something to fall back on.
Yeah.
There's so many wonderful recipes at glutenfreegoddess.com, and instead of the refined sugars like brown sugar or granulated sugar that some of those recipes call for, you can simply replace with coconut sugar or Rapidura sugar is also called something called sucanat. Or if you want to go completely sugar-free, the New Naturals company has a liquid vanilla stevia called, it says, with singing dog vanilla bean, and it's really good. It has no bitter aftertaste.
Oh, good. That's why people typically don't like those artificial sweeteners, and artificial sweeteners in general aren't very good for you, but stevia is different, right?
Yeah, it's from a plant, and it's not chemical. A lot of artificial sweeteners like saccharin and aspartame actually are considered neurotoxins. They actually kill brain cells.
Yikes.
I know. So a lot of the stevias out there, especially the powdered ones, do have that bitter aftertaste. But this one I've found is a way better brand, and you can even use it in conjunction with a whole sugar like grade B maple syrup or the coconut sugar, and just use half the amount of sugar it calls for, and you're using a whole sugar, but then a teaspoon of that vanilla stevia just accentuates the sweetness of that natural sweetener, and you've got yourself a wonderful brown rice and buckwheat, brown rice flour and buckwheat cookie. I've been using almond extract and almonds.
I love almond extract in just about anything.
Yeah, I know, me too. And some people do, some people don't. But, with dark chocolate chips and cranberries, like dried cranberries or dried cherries, they're just a wonderful cookie as a staple sweet treat to kind of have as an arsenal of an alternative for yourself or for anybody wanting to try something healthier.
You know what I am trying to make, especially this time of year because it warms up the kitchen and the rest of the house, but I bake muffins, and last night for the very first time I made them using oat flour.
Nice.
Which is gluten-free, and I can't tell the difference. So
yeah, they're not that bad. Yeah.
I almost wonder why people just don't go ahead and use that in place of the other. And so
I know.
I have a lot of friends that are gluten intolerant. So when I have the muffins at the house, I feel bad if I can't say, hey, would you like one? So anyway, I made them with the oat flour, and it was an experiment, and it came out fantastic, really good. Mm-hmm.
And if you're using the coconut oil or the good quality butter as opposed to these, the package of Costco muffins,
right?
They're using the refined canola or soybean vegetable oils that are really not good for us.
And there's a really good chance that those are GMOs as well.
Yeah.
Really good chance, unless it says organic on it. Something like 90 to 95% of all of the soybean oil out there. Also the, I guess is it canola? Oil?
Canola, corn, soy, and cotton were the first 4 GMO crops that were widespread.
Right.
Now it's gone to yellow crookneck squash, zucchini.
Really?
Yeah, Hawaiian papaya, sugar from sugar beets, I believe, and one other one. I mean, wheat and alfalfa are next on the list. So it's sad that the GMO thing is really spreading.
Hats off to the county of Kauai there in Hawaii for they're pushing a non-GMO ordinance there.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
They're the first county to take it on. And, they didn't put it up for a public vote, so that way there's not that opportunity for the big companies to come in and spend $1 zillion to convince you why it's bad. So, Courtney, I did want to mention on those muffins that I made, at your urging, I used coconut oil, and I did what you said to do. I put it in a Pyrex measuring cup and then heated it up. and then mixed it in. And I got to tell you, these muffins, I got to post the recipe because they're just so good. So
Yay,
I'll do that at eatdrinkexplore.com under our recipes section. But let's get back to what you're talking about, Whole Foods 101 for busy lifestyle. And so far you've talked about some of the areas of cooking for a busy lifestyle and how you can get into patterns to help yourself.
Routine.
Fats and oils, the unrefined sweeteners. What about unrefined salts?
Well, there's so many wonderful ones available now that aren't just sodium chloride. So that Morton Salt girl, you want to throw her out.
Oh, poor girl, but she's got an umbrella to land on.
She has an umbrella. She's fine. And she only costs $2 for that, right? Where your unrefined salts maybe cost twice that much, so you might pay like $4 or $5 for the same amount.
But they last for 6 months, a year.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a wonder. I call it investing. It's like your health insurance, you know, buying the better products with more integrity, the virgin coconut oil, the unrefined whole sea salts like the Himalayan pink or the Celtic, the light gray Celtic, or the Portuguese, or real salt, the one in the blue and red canister you can get at Trader Joe's even. It's just such a wonderful, it's something your body needs, all those trace minerals that are present in that real whole salt as nature gives it to us, as opposed to the sodium chloride, which is something the body, you don't find it anywhere in nature. It's refined by man.
Yeah.
And the body just goes, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, it turns the blood acidic as opposed to alkaline, like the whole sea salts are alkalizing. The refined salts are acid forming. And
you can tell the difference just by pouring a little in your hand. If it all bounces apart in neat little tiny salt squares, then it's refined.
Yeah, it should be a little kind of clumpy and off color.
Exactly, clumpy and off color and not so perfect, you know.
Yeah. The fine ground, I find that the ones that will pour through a salt shaker that are nice, the pink, the Himalayan pink if it's fine ground, and the real salt from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
It's actually from Utah, but they have it at Trader Joe's. And that one, those two are nice and not clumpy.
I have a sea salt right now that is fine ground, and at first I was sort of taken aback because it poured very much like the Morton Salt Girl, and I was like, well, wait a minute. But no, it's like you said, if it's the fine ground. Or get yourself a salt mill and buy the big chunks.
Oh, yeah.
So finally, greens and which ones to cook versus eating raw. And I think some people, especially with this big kale craze, this is where they sort of get stuck.
Yes, raw greens that you don't want to eat. Well, greens that you don't want to eat raw are the ones in the sulfur, with a lot of sulfur, the broccoli family vegetables. Especially if you have sensitive digestion. A lot of people find, well, I do, that if I eat a raw bite of broccoli at a party, you know, they have the tray of dip and raw veggies all around it. Well, I find that raw broccoli just kind of gurgles around in my stomach. It feels like it's not really digesting well.
Yeah.
And that's because of the sulfur. Sulfur is really hard for the body to break down. So I always at least lightly steam everything in the broccoli family. So that would be the Brussels sprouts and kale and stuff.
Yeah, and that broccoli family, I just saw a post on Twitter the other day that I found really interesting. I did not realize that broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kohlrabi, and kale are all pretty much the same. But they're just slight variations of the same family.
Yeah, and I mean it just depends on your farmer and what he's supplementing his soil with. But they're full of wonderful minerals that the body can use right away. They call that bioavailable food state minerals.
Wow,
very important in our diets. What's missing in the standard American diet? Well, one of the things that's missing.
Courtney Coleman, you're just a never-ending flow of awesome information.
Don't get me started.
You can find more information from Courtney at cookwell.org. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you, Randall. Happy holidays.
Yes, indeed. And stick around, everyone. We got a lot more coming up next. Learn how to be a beer expert. If you think you already are, think again.